Okay traders, this video is your weekly update video to show you what happened in the market last week and see if there's any new patterns forming on the chart. Right now you can see I have my proprietary moving average on the chart, and one thing you can see about that is that when the market broke up through here, it only spent a couple of days before coming straight back down. That's called a false breakout, if you're going to call it like that. And generally a false breakout gives you a strong direction on the opposite of the breakout, meaning if the market breaks up and it does pop up above this moving average and then starts to break down, we're generally going to see a pretty big breakdown, and that's exactly what we've had through here. So that's what we can see so far. Another thing I can see is that if I just draw a support line through here, you can clearly see that the market bounced off here, bounced here, it came straight through here, and the next day popped straight back up. It became support, support, support through here, support, support. So this support line is pretty valid. Then it actually broke through here. That's actually quite interesting, but we'll talk about what's happened about this a bit later on. But what we can see right now is you can see the market's clearly broken to the downside, and now it looks like it wants some more downside. So all I say is do not fall in love with this upside. Do not fall in love with any upside action. Even if we do get a little rally, we could get a little rally, but I reckon we've got a lot more downside action than what we're seeing right now. So just be very careful out there. What I can see right now is a few things happening. If I look at the bigger picture, if I go back from the top here and just bring that down through there, you can clearly see that we have a nice strong resistance line through there. And if I just grab my trend line from here and drag it down through there, you can see we have a nice resistance line trend line down through there. Now if I just delete this, rectangle here, so we can have a look at it, you can see that the market's been hitting resistance here, which is this resistance over here, and now we're seeing a lot more downside action to come. Now we're seeing a lot more downside action as we speak. One thing I can see is if we have a closer look at the current market, if I get the exact same trend line and duplicate it and grab that trend line and bring it down, look at what we're forming through here. We're forming a channel. It's actually start support, once hit resistance, once, twice hit support, ran up, hit resistance, and now it's running back down. Now is it going to hit support here? Is it going to make support here? Well, we don't know for sure, but what the market's telling us is overall, the bigger picture, the market's likely to come down. So yes, we could get a little bounce through here and then the market run back down. But just remember, try to be in the mind frame of sell rallies instead of buy dips if you're going to do that. Or sell momentum instead of trying to buy momentum. Try to be in that sort of mind frame, because I believe there's a lot more downside action to come. Not to say there's not likely to be a bit of a pop the next couple of days. I'm not saying that, but what the chart is telling me, the bigger picture is like this. It's look like the next couple of months we're going to get a lot more downside action. Now the interesting thing is this: the market's going into a little sideways channel through here, and that's actually showing that we might get a lot of support through there. But if I squeeze my chart up through here, and if I just duplicate my trend line through here, if I get the exact same trend line, see that? It's the exact same trend line. Look at this through here. We are in a bigger channel on the Dow Jones Industrial Average chart. Now you can see here that the market is in a big down channel, and that little small channel it's forming is just a much more weight on the downside to say, listen, if this market does rally, try to be in a sell rallies mode instead of a buy dips mode. My stock market trading room, we are definitely short on the market. Come down and check out the trades that we're on at the moment, and we definitely have the odds on our side, because even just by going short right now, we definitely have the odds on our side as we speak. But we need a plan. Okay, so that's the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Right now it does look very bearish right now as I speak. So just be very careful with that, and just make sure that you look after your current financial situation. Let's go check out what the Australian market did last week and see if there's any formations on that particular chart. Okay traders, now we're looking at the XJO, the Australian Stock Market Daily bar chart. And what I've done right now, I've just sort of compressed my chart to show you my proprietary moving average and show you how well this works. You can see here, market came up, hit resistance, and when it went above it, completely above it, for more than a couple of days, you can see it has spent some nice time to the upside. Then the market came down, hit resistance. Look at this in the recent times. we've had a resistance bounce and a resistance bounce here. So what we're doing now is we're actually a lot of resistance on this moving average, and it's showing a lot more downside to come. So so that alone right there is showing a lot of weight on the downside. Now if I just open my chart up a bit more to show or to have a look what's going on here, we can see right now clearly that my proprietary moving average that we use in the trading room every day, once again, come down, and I'll show you exactly what it is. You can see it hit resistance there, almost hit resistance, struggled there, and now had a bit of backfire. But is there any patterns or formations on the chart that we can take advantage of right now and see what the market's really telling us? Okay, but the first thing I can see is that this. If I just get from the trend line from the top here and just drag it down through there. Okay, there we go. You can see the market actually, I took this peak here, hit resistance here, and away we went. Now, the funny thing is this, or the interesting thing, should I say, is this. If I just duplicate that there and get the exact same trend line, but bring it down through to here, look what we have here. We now have resistance, popped up, came back down, hit support, now ran back up, hit resistance, and now we're just going sideways. Now, what's happening in the short term right now is the market's completely going sideways, hit resistance, and now it looks like it's going to try and run down to at least this bottom level down here, and that's around, say, the 3,000 or around about the 3,300, 3,400 level, around about there. That's where it looks like it's going to try and run to, but a lot more downside action. I do expect a lot more downside action to come on this, so just be very careful. Once again, you see that looking at this chart right now, this pattern is evident. We have major resistance here, major support. This is actually channeling right now, which you see the Dow Jones and the Australian market are both channeling really well. So just be very, very cautious out there when trading this market. But right now, there's a lot of weight on the downside. You can clearly see. Make sure you listen to the analysis and not listen to your mind or what you think, or don't trade what you hope for, trade what you see. And that's one thing I remind my traders in my trading room every single day. And and by saying that, we've kept ourselves out of a lot of trades because we listen to the analysis first, and then we trade second. So always don't trade and then look at the analysis. Always do your analysis first, wait for the confirmation, and then jump on. That's very, very crucial. And that's the reason why our trading room has been pretty successful since it's actually opened up. So come down and check us out. So right now, you can see that. But there's actually a much bigger pattern forming here in this sideways channel. Let me show you. If I get a trend line, I've just got to draw it from the bottom here and draw it through the top. Look what we're having here. Now we're now forming what we have is a wedge. You can clearly see that. The market bounced there, and now it's actually bouncing here. Now, one thing we can see the US market looks like it wants more downside. If the Australian market breaks through here, which is a lot of pressure on the downside, hitting resistance, and also bouncing off the moving average, there's a lot more weight on the downside. So if it does break, we could expect another break, and I would expect at least run down to these recent lows through here, which, funny enough, comes inside or at the same level as around about the bottom of the channel. So if it does break, I would expect a run down to around about the 3,200 mark. But once again, make sure you get financial advice before you take any recommendations on this video. Make sure that you get good coaching. That's exactly what we do in the trading room. And please make sure you have a plan, make sure you have a proven plan, and step up to the plate when it comes. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you need any help, and I'll be gladly to help you out. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week with your weekly wrap.